So for tonight's supper, I am going to be doing one of the kebab freezer meals that I had created. We'll get that together in just a little bit. I want to get the foil packet, and I've shown this before, foil packet for the vegetables. I'm going to mix this partial bag of broccoli and cauliflower together. I'm going to get it prepped and ready to go on the grill for later. I'm going to make it now, and then I'm going to put it into the freezer. So now I'm ready to get the kebab meat onto the skewers. I let this sit in my refrigerator for 3 days, and then I would sit and I would massage it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the meat out. I have a garbage right next to me here, so I'm gonna put this bag into the garbage. All right, let me clean up and then I will bring you back, because you can see I kind of got a mess. As always, I've got a dish rag. Now, when I made these, I did show you how I do get them prepped. And I just kind of do a sewing motion and get them on there really good. We're only gonna have the meat skewers and the cauliflower and broccoli for dinner tonight. We're trying to cut out some carbs when we can. Not cut out completely. All right, I got this first one done. I'm going to finish up. I will need a lot more than these because I have a lot of meat here. I will bring you back when I am completely done. So I'm done putting the meat on the skewers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have seven skewers, and it's a lot of meat. It definitely would have made a lot more if I would have put vegetables in between all of them. But most of the time I like doing it this way, because then I can focus on the meat and get that cooked appropriately. And then the vegetables, if we do kebab vegetables, I'll do them on separate skewers. And we use the metal skewers because they're reusable and they don't catch on fire. Ask me how I know. So I'm gonna put saran wrap over these and place them in the refrigerator until it is time to get them on the barbecue. So here they are in the refrigerator, covered up with saran wrap. And this freezer meal was the one that was called mouth-watering steak kebabs. It was a recipe, it was a marinade that I had gotten off of Pinterest. So we'll see how they are because I had 2 bags of them. So I have another whole bag of this. Now I am going to make an angel food cake. It's just the box cake. You're going to have to just add water, which is to me the most simplest. Angel food cakes, when you buy them in the store now, they are so expensive. So granted, this box cake, it's over $5 itself. Probably because the price of eggs right now in 2025 are still extremely expensive. Um, but anyway, I got it into the mixer. I added the water, and I don't know about any of you. I've always struggled getting my paddles or whips onto my KitchenAid, even my old one. So I struggle a little bit. I finally get it on, and it recommends you to do it at a low speed for about 2 minutes, and then it wants you to turn it up to a high speed to get the air whipped into it and make it extremely light and fluffy. So that's what's going on here. Then you're going to see me, I'm going to put it into the fluted pan. They don't recommend you spraying the pan, so don't spray the pans. Follow the directions to the T. I shouldn't have videoed the way that I did. I mean, I struggle so much for you to see me do this, and it's actually kind of comical in my eyes. I should have just put the camera at a different angle. I do show you getting it into the pan to the best of my ability. Again, I apologize for my arm being in the way and the awkward angles, but once I get it into the pan, then I'm going to place it into the oven and get it cooked. And then once it's completely cooked, then I will show you how I let it cool. And this is it recommends it on the back of the package. I have an old La Choy soy sauce glass jar. Now, hardly anything is made in glass anymore, but this jar I've had for probably over 30 years because it fits perfectly in that little hole. Now you're going to see me, this is cooled for probably 2 hours upside down. So now I'm going to release it. Now I always run a knife around the whole cake because it does stick. If you try to get it out of there without trying to run a knife or something around it, you're going to rip your cake. So I just grabbed a steak knife. It fits perfect for me to get it completely released. And here, mine is a 2-piece flute pan. So I release the bottom, I pull it out, and then I take the steak knife, because it is stuck to the bottom too, and I just cut along that, and then I'll tip it upside down onto the plate, and I will, it came out beautiful. They always do. And cooling it upside down, I mean, you don't have to, but it keeps it light and fluffy. That's what I think their reasoning behind it is. My fluted pan doesn't have little legs on it. If you ever see fluted pans with legs, the purpose of that is to cool it upside down. Mine doesn't have that, so I have to use the jar method. And see, it turned out beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I had strawberries left over from last year, so I took them out, and we had angel food cake with strawberries and whipped topping. Perfect for the day. It was absolutely gorgeous outside. We had a little bit of hot fudge for the ones that didn't like the strawberries, and it turned out wonderful. So for supper tonight, yesterday I actually took a pork roast, and I got some of my jalapeno pepper jelly and cooked that with it. These are the leftover juices. It didn't get done in time for us to eat supper, so I had to just put it away, and we're gonna have it for supper tonight. So I'm gonna cut this down. I'm going to make like I'm going to heat this up and use a cornstarch slurry for it. And then I'm going to make some, I think I have the jasmine rice. Let me peek. Yep, I have jasmine rice. So I'm going to make jasmine rice in my Instapot. So we're going to have this over jasmine rice for supper tonight. So now I'm going to take the rest of this pepper jelly, and I need to heat it up. And then I'm going to strain out the contents. I split it up between two little small crock pots. Once I get this heated up and I get it strained, I'm going to heat all of it together with this, and I'm going to actually get some, I think I have pork broth downstairs. I do. So I'll get some pork broth because I need to make more of what a sauce, a gravy for it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use a cornstarch slurry to thicken it all up. I'm straining the peppers out because their texture and their appearance aren't that appealing. So I'm straining it out. Getting all the goodness that was left behind, huh? So now I put the broth from the pork roast in the saucepan, and I'm putting what I just heated up from that pepper jelly. I'm going to go get a pint of pork broth, and I'll be right back. I went and got some pork broth. Actually, I got poultry. Well, you know what? I'm going to use it. I have a lot of it. So, it smells good. I am just whipping this together. No recipe. Hopefully it turns out. Sometimes my concoctions turn out pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up just to melt some of the fat that was left in there from the pork roast. And I want a lot of the sauce so we can have it over rice. So I'm going to make quite a bit of it. And I'm just going to, I'll thicken it up later on. I'm going to, once this gets heated through, I'm going to get it into the crock pot sleeves. I'll get the crock pot sleeves into the crock pot, turn it on low, and let that heat up. And then right before dinner, probably about 20 minutes before dinner, I'll make a cornstarch slurry to thicken up the sauce. So it's going to be kind of like a sweet and sour pork over rice with a little bit of just a smidgen of heat because there was jalapenos in there. So for supper tonight, I'm going to be putting this ham and bean soup into the crock pot because I work the day shift, so when I come home, the family can dish up themselves, and then when I get home, I can dish myself up. But I'm going to mix the two of these in this bowl and then put it into the crock pots. For tonight's supper, we are going to have chicken Alfredo. I need to use this one up, and I'm just gonna mix it with the Greater Value one. I have a canned chicken in broth from 2023. I have fettuccine noodles, and I have this wonderful Italian sourdough bread that I had purchased from a home baker, and we're gonna have that with it as well. And I think I might get some green beans and have that with it as well. We'll see. I'm kind of crunched for time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the Alfredo sauce into the crock pot, heat it up. I'm gonna thin it out with the chicken broth that is in here. I'm not gonna add the chicken until probably 45 minutes before we eat, because this is already cooked chicken and I don't want it to break down to a shredded look. You know, it's gonna break down some, but I just want it to not break down into like you're gonna have like a shredded barbecue chicken for on a sandwich kind of thing. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna get the Alfredo sauce into the crock pot and get it thinned out. So with this sourdough Italian bread, it's absolutely wonderful. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna butter it, cut it in half, and then when I go to put it into the oven, I am going to put some cheese on top of it. I think the only thing I have is cheddar. I have white cheddar, or I could use the Parmesan shaky cheese, which maybe I'll use that. It's the only Parmesan cheese I have. But we'll have cheesy Italian sourdough bread. So I cooked up the whole box of fettuccine, and I also added the chicken to the Alfredo. I'm going to be combining them and let it heat through, and then we'll be able to eat. I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of the 2023 parsley, still trying to use that up, just to give this a little bit of color. It's a little too white. Oh, much better. All right, we're gonna let that heat through, and then once my family gets home, I will dish it up and I will bring you back. And here is a closer look. Now to just get everything heated through, and I still have to make that cheesy bread. And I usually always make extra pasta. This extra pasta I am going to make into a quick pasta salad for myself for when I go to work. I have a little bit of ranch dressing left in here, and this is where it's going to get used up. All right, I'll get that mixed in together. And here it is. This is how I use up extra dressing that just needs to go. And I usually just take that dressing and put it in with any extra noodles that I make. And I eat it for my lunches when I go to work, or when I'm at home too, but mainly when I go to work, because I eat cold lunches there. showing you some of the things that we've eaten so far this month. And a few other things that I'm not going to video and show you is I have quite a few appointments coming up here and working in between. Make my life easier. So we're going to have hot dogs one night with probably chips and beans. I have sloppy joes, probably leftover chips, and I'm going to make a big can of beans. So there should be leftovers of that. This is that small container of the freezer meal that I had made. I'm going to make hamburger helper out of the base here. So I'm just gonna add noodles, put cheese on top, put it into the oven. We'll pair it with whatever we have on hand. Probably some canned fruit downstairs. I will be buying apples, so I could cut up some apples as well. But these are gonna be quick meals for me to just throw together, and I'm not gonna video how I'm gonna do all of that. I think they're all self-explanatory. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, share with family and friends, and I want you folks to make it a really great day.